to the Voiceover Roundtable. I'm Mike Tobin.
And I'm Emma O'Neill. Every week, we get together to talk about all things voiceover, with a special focus on community.
Bringing you in-depth interviews, roundtable discussions, special performance events, and industry-leading guests.
Let's get started. This is the Voiceover Roundtable.
There's something about September. I think that it's a little like the start of every year. It makes us take stock maybe of how things are going, ask ourselves a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. And, we keep trying to fend off the darkness of self-doubt and imposter syndrome when they creep in, because that was my day today, which was really funny that we have our guests tonight. But knowing that we can always come back to learning, fine-tuning the tools that we have or picking up new ones we need, regardless of where we are in our careers.
You know, the learning thing and all that, it's definitely one of the themes that we come back to often here on the show. Tonight's no exception, which brings us to our special guest. She is a CPC, an active casting director, and a certified life and career coach specializing in the entertainment industry. She graduated from the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London with a BA honors degree in acting and holds an associate degree from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York.
Wow. It just makes me dizzy. She's fully vested SAG-AFTRA voiceover actress with thousands of jobs under her name. Her noted acting credits include recurring roles on NBC's Deadline, Dick Wolf, ABC's All My Children, and lead roles at the Actors Theater of Louisville, Humana Festival, and the Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park.
In 2013, she and her husband, Jason Harris, formed the successful ADR Loop Group and voice casting company, The Looping Division. Together, they've cast specific and background voice for such projects as Denis Villeneuve's Dune, Showtime's Yellow Jackets, Your Honor and the Affair, Peacock's Bel Air and Bupkis, Hulu's Life and Beth, Apple's For All Mankind and Dickinson, Star's Gaslit, Comedy Central's Awkwafina's Nora from Queens, among many others.
As if all that wasn't enough. She also helps actors feel confident, talented, and whole through her acting business boot camp. And you can catch her podcast of the very same name on Wednesdays, airing episode 250 this week. Wow. She's fully bi-coastal, lives with her husband and their beloved feline, Bowie. Alana was very excited about that. My wife is a huge Bowie fan, in Los Angeles and New York City.
Please welcome to the Voiceover Roundtable, Pamela Rose.
Ta-da!
Oh, I
there
see. Hi. Hello. I'm seeing myself talk, but I'm not hearing. Yes. So I hate to break it to Atlanta, but Bowie was named for her little bow legs, not for...
Atlanta doesn't care.
She doesn't care. She doesn't care. Just like, yeah. Okay.
They got to make her own.
Yeah. And I can't guarantee that Bowie won't be joining us at some point because she doesn't like it when I close the door and,
understand.
Leave her out of things. So yes, there you go. There you go. So thank you so much for having me. And, I'm here to answer any and all questions about lots of different things. And yeah, and I'm just excited to be here.
First question is, how are you?
Today I'm a little bit exhausted. I actually started the day over at Warner Brothers in Los Angeles picketing. Did that for a couple of hours. And, I've just kind of been going all day. Obviously I'm not working at all in terms of Loop Group wise, because Loop Group is exactly the contract that we're striking for.
Right.
Standard day rate contract. So there's nothing going on there. But I tend to find myself getting busy. I can fill up vacuums very, very quickly and always have. So I'm coaching, I'm producing, I'm doing all sorts of exciting things. And, and also trying to take a little downtime as well. Watching a lot of movies and
good
like that. So
actually on your craft.
Yes, exactly.
We're thrilled that you were able to join us on this, especially with such short notice, and making time for us. And we're
absolutely
that our paths crossed.
I know.
Our audience has, I hope they have questions. Sometimes they're shy, but I hope they have questions. I've had a couple of questions sent in email But I'm going to launch the first question.
Sure.
Something that I believe is central to your coaching method.
Yeah.
And it's the 3 keys, I'm holding up 2 fingers, the 3 keys to being a successful voice actor.
What are they? One thing about being shy in this business doesn't really pay off.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the first thing I will just say about that. The other thing is that yes, I do cast and stuff like that, but I'm very, very accessible. Ask me anything. If I don't feel comfortable answering it, I'll tell you. But I beg of you, please, please, please ask, because I really want you to get as much as you possibly can out of this time. Mm-hmm. And maybe ask questions that you wouldn't have dared ask before. I promise you, there is no judgment whatsoever on my part of who you are or what you're asking.
Folks, that's for you in the audience, folks. That's for us
that was all for
and
you.
Mainly for you in the audience.
Yes. But also, ask me anything. So the 3 things are acting training, business skills, and core work. So by acting training, I mean this: getting as good at your skill, whether that be voiceover or even acting, as you possibly can. One of the things that I so passionately believe is that never, ever, ever underestimate how good you need to be. Never underestimate that. Ever. Because there is always somebody else who's putting in that extra little bit. And one of the things I talk about, which brings me to core work, is the work on yourself. And one of the things I talk about in core work is perfect effort. And what is perfect effort? But it's being the best you can in your craft as every single time you do it. And it really is the idea that success isn't solely determined by winning, but absolutely giving your best effort in everything you do. And that this whole idea of perfect effort is attributed to a high school football coach named Bob Ladouceur, who has the longest winning streak in sports history. So it's kind of, I combine lots of different things in core work, but that idea of perfect effort, that you're putting your best effort, because you can get really hung up on that word perfect.
Yeah.
I always say, perfectionism leads to procrastination, leads to paralysis. Mm-hmm. But so don't get hung up on the word perfect, but really think of it as perfect, meaning your best effort to everything you do. Anyway, but that's core work. So acting training, being the best you can be at your chosen profession, core work, and then business skills. And business skills is really just learning the business, so that when you approach a casting director like myself, I don't have this reaction, okay, that person doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, fair.
Because I don't have time to teach them unless I'm coaching. And so that's 2 very different things. And I have said to people who have approached me, I'm going to take this opportunity as a coach to explain why this is not an effective email. Mm-hmm. And we'll say, if you're interested in having more help, but I need to, regardless, take this for what it is. This is why this is ineffective and why I instantly would go delete,
And different people take that different ways, right?
Yes.
Some people take that as a gift, and some people take that as a slap. And depending on how you take that will kind of determine your route from there. But
yes, because one of the things I talk about is remaining teachable. I've been in this industry for over 3 years.
Yes.
But I need to remain teachable. I'm embarking on a few projects where I am the green one. I am the newbie. And I am constantly, I will just flat out ask, I say, you know what, I'm a little bit new to this. Can you please explain it to me? Because I want to learn. See, learning isn't a weakness. Learning is a strength.
It's kind of fun too, no? Like doing something new and learn. No?
Oh my God. Yes, of course. It's fabulous. Because learning also builds that thing that I talk about in core work, which is confidence. And, Emma, you and I talked about kind of in our prelim conversation, this whole idea of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, I'm going to give you the perfect example, and it's a little gross, so I do apologize. My husband and I were gone for a month, and we had traps in our crawl space. And let's just say we caught 2 rats. And we found out that the rats had gotten into the house. We just found out how they got in today, actually. And that got sealed up, and that's all good. But the guy who came over knew what he was doing. Now, I want to ask you something. Would you want somebody who came over who would be like, oh my God, yeah, that's really a problem. Yeah, I'm not so sure about this. Do you want that guy, or do you want the guy who goes, no, I found the problem. It's over here. See, they nibbled over here, and you can see the little stuff on the bottom. It's actually very clever if you look at where they are, and and really explain the whole thing and is passionate about rat control. Yes, that's who you want. You want, if you're going to have your house painted, do you want the person who's like, oh, I mean, you could go that way, but I'm not actually sure myself, as opposed to the person who goes, no, this is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. Yep. You want to know you're in good hands.
Yep. Yeah.
And as a casting director, I'm only going to hire actors who I know I'm in good hands with, that are going to make me look good. So one of the things I talk about is there's no room for imposter syndrome, because guess what? That's what the 5% of actors who actually work, and make a living, those actors don't have that. That's how I know the difference between actors who work and actors who don't. I talk about that all the time. We can get into that if you want.
I love how you say that you're in good hands with us as the actor.
Yes.
Because many actors and voice actors go into sessions and things thinking we're in their hands.
No, you're the one doing the job.
Right. I love it.
My job is already done. I've cast you.
Check.
You see what I mean?
Now, okay.
Yeah.
So even when we find, I'm making emphatic air quotes.
Yeah.
Now, only we can see each other here.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
But they can't see them. But I'm making emphatic air quotes around the word, even when we find success. However we might define that at whatever point we're at in our careers. For pretty much everyone, and the number you quoted was the opposite of 5% is 95%. Yeah. At some point, that good old imposter syndrome is going to make the appearance, and we're asking ourselves, well, why is that agent I submitted to not getting back to me? Or why did they ask for my availability, put me on hold, only to release me without an explanation? We're told we need to have thick skin and to get used to rejection. And those may be like decent suggestions. It's pretty easy to get in our own heads, and we get discouraged and even question if we should even be doing this at all. So how do we chase away the darkness?
You make a choice. You make a choice. I also really, and I share about this very, very openly. I was a huge panic attack sufferer. I started having panic attacks at the age of 3. Oh, wow. I starved myself to try and control my panic. So when actors tell me I'm nervous or I'm anxious or I'm, having a hard time, not only do I understand that just as a human, I understand that viscerally.
Yeah.
I understand it viscerally. The thing that I have learned in longevity is, 1, everything is fixable, and 2, that the most important thing is the belief in yourself. And if you think that that doesn't translate in the voice, it translates everywhere. I can hear when my anxiety of like, God, I really want to get this job is in my voice. And I can hear when I'm just being me. And I really, one of the things I talk a lot about is what is your goal? What is your thought? And what is your action? And if my goal is to be let's just say, for the purpose of this, my goal is to be a working voiceover actor, then my thoughts, my affirmations, or my thoughts, because your thoughts are affirmations, must be in line with that goal. But also my actions must be in line with that goal, which is a big thing that I talk about in terms of time management. So, for example, if I want to be a working voiceover actor and my thought is I'm not good enough, doesn't work.
True.
I'm doing what I call I'm working against myself instead of for myself. Mm-hmm. I'm working against myself instead of for myself. Now, I probably don't have to tell anybody on this line, but this business is hard enough. Yeah. So I need not to have my own self working against me. I already have all that extra stuff. I need to have everything working for me. That also means when I wake up in the morning, I usually try and put 3 things on my list that make me want to vomit in my mouth just a little bit. And I try to get those things done before noon. And it generally is some type of phone call, or I had one right before this. I had to call this, and this is somebody who's kind of like, he's on my side, but I was just like, this call is not going well, Peter. And I'm just like, and I think I was just being a little needy, and I just then backed off, and the whole thing went great, and everything's fine. But it really is that whole idea of, doing what you most don't want to do by noon. And that's going to be something that's going to make you want to vomit in your mouth just a little bit. Why? Because it's going to be a little bit out of what feels comfortable. Yeah. But, that cliche idea of life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Well, I'm sorry, so does success. Success begins at the end of your comfort zone. And ultimately, in choosing your actions for the day, so making those calls or doing those emails or sitting down at looking at lists or listening to your reel and going through it again, or, following up on something that you are absolutely positive, is going to be a no, whatever it is, you need to ask, I ask myself this question. Well, how bad do you want it?
Question.
How bad do you want it? Do you want that job? Do you want to be a working voiceover actor? How bad do you want it? Because ultimately it comes down to choice.
Yeah.
And I think once I started to stop choosing to work against myself and to start working for myself, that a lot of stuff started grooving into place. But the question is, how do you do that? Right? I mean, because that just sounds, well, I'm sure it's easy for you. No, it was not easy for me in any way, shape, or form. But it was a true commitment to every day really, using, as I talk about in Chiropractor for the Mind, which is my core work coaching, using your mind to govern your brain to watch what you are thinking. Am I thinking for myself or am I thinking against myself? And it's a process of, you're going to have the thought, oh, I suck at this, or I'm never going to be successful, or whatever it is. And the first thing to remember is you're not responsible for your first thought, but you are responsible for your second.
Oh, I love that.
So I think I'm never going to make it, or I suck at this, or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Sorry, I have a horrible mouth. My mother.
Welcome to our show.
Oh, thank
You are
fucking God.
safe.
Okay, safe zone. Anyway, so I think like I'm not that great, or whatever the hell it is. So I'm not responsible for that thought, but I am responsible for the second. So I go through the process of stop, and sometimes it's like stop.
I literally do this.
Yeah, stop. Just freaking stop. Take a step back. And that literally, I initially teach this, that if you're sitting, you slide yourself back in your chair. If you're at a cocktail party or whatever, you just take a step back. Nobody has to know what you're doing. Because if you put your hand like directly on your face, now I know we're all on audio, but trust me, I'm doing it right now. You put your hand on your face, you cannot see your hand clearly. But if you remove it a foot away, then you can observe. You can go, oh, wait, what's that on my hand? You can see, which puts you in the position to observe, which then puts you in the position to ask yourself, is this a thought that works for me or a thought that works against me? And then you can respond to it with a positive thought. I am a working voiceover actor. I got this. I can do this. I constantly try to encourage myself throughout the day, especially when I'm having a day where I've got, like this week is batshit crazy.
Yes.
And it's batshit crazy because of 17 different things. It's not even because we have full lives. We live in an incredible time and a terrifying time. We have full lives. So how do we keep that organized? How do we keep that balanced? And that response, I always say that a response is a reaction with a pause and a thought behind it. So that we're really being cognizant of what thoughts we are putting into our lives, because what we are thinking and what we are doing today is creating our future. And I stand by that.
Wow.
So that's, yeah. So.
And we need to throw up less in our mouths.
And we at least need to throw up less around. Well, it does get easier, but the thing is that in some ways it kind of doesn't, because as your comfort zone expands, and then you have to keep going outside of it. But what's exciting about that is with that becomes more success. And every time you make that call or you do that thing that you're frightened of, what are you building? You're building the one thing that money cannot buy. Bill Gates cannot buy this. He must earn it, and he has to earn it from the hardest person on the planet to earn it from, which is himself, and that is you earn self-esteem.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what I was talking about with perfect effort, is giving your best effort in every endeavor that you do, but you're really letting go of the result, because giving the best effort is the payment in and of itself. Make sense?
Oh, huge. It's like I feel like we've been brought to church and we're taking a moment.
Amen.
Amen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it's as you pick off those challenges that make you want to throw up in your mouth a little bit, maybe they don't seem so big anymore. And then you grow to bigger challenges and bigger challenges and bigger challenges. And like you said, your world expands, your success expands, but you still got to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Still
And that's
keep doing it.
You still got to do it. And that's why I say it's really ultimately, well, how bad do you want it? Also, so the first part of the question was, what are those three areas? So I want to make sure that we talk about that. That's training. That's business skills. That's core work, the work on yourself. If you ask me which one is the most important to become successful, hands down, core work. The other thing is, what is that process that you walk yourself through? It's that stop, take a step back, observe. Is this a thought that works for me or a thought that works against me? And then respond. And then the other thing, which Mike, you just brought up, which is what I call baby stepping, which is, again, something that I talk about in time management. It's not that you do the big things. It's that you make the incremental changes. It's that you do the little things.
Yeah.
So if it's too much to, I don't know, call the rat prevention person, then, maybe the first thing you need to do is set a timer for 15 minutes and research rat prevention people. And then the next thing would be create a list of 3 to call and then kind of take it from there. That, you know what I mean? In other words, like you can baby step. And guess what? Every single time you do a baby step, you're building self-esteem. Every single time you build a baby step, you're building discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
What were we talking about? Voiceovers?
Yeah.
Chasing away the darkness.
Yeah. No, but it's so prevalent. And like, whether it's being an actor or a voice actor, at the end of the day, the word actor is there for a reason. You are an actor, and you need it. It is true because everything is heard through the voice, and you hear it yourself. It's like, I was having a crap day today, and I knew I cannot get into the booth right now. I've got to go and run around. So it's like I went outside, I played outside, and then I jumped up and down and did like jumping and shaking to get the energy out. I was like, okay, enough. Now I'm going to go do some IVRs because, that's fine. I can welcome and press 1 for sales. And but it's just, get my head back into the booth to be able to do my job, because I can hear, if I get into the booth when I'm having a poopy experience and I get into the booth and I try to force it, then I go and listen to it and I'm like, oh God, that's just, I can hear the crowd in the read. Like one of my coaches always says, she's like, you're a really good faker. Like, I know when you're having a bad day and it was the end of the day and you just wanted to bang out that audition because you had something early to do the next morning. She's like, you're a really good faker, because if I didn't know you, I'd still know something was wrong, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what it was in your read that wasn't yes. So, but when you're there, because when I'm authentically just being Emma and doing my job, it's a complete, but you hear it, you absolutely hear it in the read.
Yeah.
And that's one of the freaky upside down things. Emma, you're saying we're actors. And I think a lot of people on the outside of what we do think, well, you're actors. You should just be able to turn it on and turn it off and have whatever you want come out and it should be just fine. No, not so easy. Right? What's inside, like what we genuinely feel, is heard.
Absolutely.
And so if it's difficult to get to that genuine feel, whatever that might be, it's going to be heard.
And that's why I think absolutely 1000% to what both of you are saying. And that's why I think it's so important to be centered in your own life.
Yeah.
So that when you get in front of that mic, you don't have to travel that far. Does that make sense? In other words, you don't have to. In other words, if I'm balanced, emotionally balanced, then when I go into the booth and, I have to pretend I'm leaving, this just happened, pretended I'm leaving a voicemail for someone or, and it's emotional, then, it's not hard to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can just go there. And that was kind of based actually on something that I learned from a teacher in London when I was at Guildhall. His name was Vasily Skorik. He's passed away. He was a direct descendant of Stanislavski.
Oh, wow.
And he studied, this guy was Russian. In fact, I'll tell you my quick thing.
Yes, please.
Of my quick story of him. So I was the only American, and he was teaching in day 4 or 5. He points to me and goes, "You American girl." And so I look to the translator. I go, "How does he know I'm American?" Because it's all British students. So how does he know I'm American? And she translates it to him, and he goes, I'm the one who sounds like a duck. That's how he knows, because of my accent. So anyway, I was like, oh my God. But he always would use the, you guys can't see it, but if you just make a cross or a plus sign, he would always say it's so important for the actor to live at the crosshairs so they could go to the highest point that's straight ahead, to the point most to the right, to the point most to the left, to the point on the lowest on the plus sign. The actor needed to be there because that would be the least furthest distance that the actor would need to go to. But anyway, so.
No, it's so true. It's like one of the things that you hear in every acting class. Well, I know I have in every acting class I've ever been to, and academy and everything else. It's stop trying to do and just be. And it's that you're not putting anything on when you're in that skin. You just are, and that's all you need to. That's all you're doing is being in that skin, being in that moment.
You know, you said something so brilliant. You say being in your skin. You know, I need to be comfortable in my own skin. First of all, I've lived in it, you know, since the day I was born. But why would I, you know, by you being, I also find that, you know, as a casting director, I love actors who are comfortable being themselves because it makes me feel more comfortable. Mm-hmm. The thing that, and the other thing is, and maybe it's because, you know, because of the coaching I do and stuff like that, I can tell, and I hate to say this because listen, I've done it. Let me just preface this by saying I've done this so many times myself. It's like, oh, Emma, I just love those glasses you're wearing. Huh? That is so fabulous. It's like trying to get you to like me some other way. And you really want to know how I'm going to like you? Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to like you.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job and do it well. That's how I'm going to like you.
We are nodding.
You know, whether you're telling me that you like the color of my hair or the color of my t-shirt, or you like my, you know, my necklace, that's not going to do it. Do your fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to do it.
Yep.
That's what's going to make me want to know you more. That's what's going to make me want to hire you more. That's what's going to make me think, oh, I have that audition. Who should I send it to more?
Yeah.
You know, that, and I think that's kind of a big thing. And I used to be the worst at it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, everything and I get how hard it is because you want it so badly. But I think like there's this idea of, you know, like, let's say, Emma, I'm going to ask you out on a date, and I like will go, I'll be like, oh, Emma, you're really pretty. Oh gosh, you know that. Instead of just doing this, hey, Emma, you want to go out next Friday? In other words, that it's like actors will go, go talk about or do something all over the globe, except just say what they fucking mean, you know? and it's just like, look, I do it too. I saw myself doing it today, you know, and I go, okay. But again, it's using your mind to govern your brain. When you catch yourself, stopping yourself immediately, take a step back, observe, okay, what kind of behavior is going on here? And that kind of a thing. And I think, again, being comfortable in your skin is really knowing how you click. But that takes a lot of work. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing that kind of work for over 25, 28 years, you know, and it's been a process. And how do I get better at it? I teach it, you know. So,
this is the thing that I think a lot of voice actors focus, if at all, or I should say aspiring voice actors especially, focus so much energy in the, you know, the technique and the performance aspect of things.
Yeah.
Learning how to read copy. And it's all really important stuff. But like you said, there are other elements. There's the business element and there's the core work element. And, you know, a tripod doesn't stand on one leg, you know?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's good. I like that.
I like it. All three of them are very important.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
See, you know, the other thing you know, is that, fuck it, I can't remember what I was going to say. Does anyone have a question?
I wanted to know.
Emma has a question.
I do. I wanted to ask you about your podcast.
Yes.
250 shows. Congratulations.
Actually, whoa. It's actually 150.
What?
I don't know, because I think I started with 101, but I've been doing it for, oh my God, almost 3 years now.
Okay.
Every single weekend. I have never skipped an episode, even when my house was flooding. I did a fucking episode.
That's the thing.
Crazy.
You did,
And that is, again, that was, I mean, I am literally on the phone to my assistant going, you do not understand. Both of my voiceover booths flooded. And she said, okay, do you want to skip a week? And I went, no, I'm not going to skip a week. How
do it
bad
from
do
your
I
car,
want?
man, whatever.
I think I recorded it into my phone, and I just said what was going on. And I just talked about the lessons I was learning. Because again, it's like, I will go to any length. If I say I want that goal to happen, I will go to any lengths to make that happen. And that means doing things when I most don't want to do them. If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
Okay, so let's talk about the podcast. So I have a podcast called the Acting Business Bootcamp Podcast. I teach lots of core work lessons on it. It's like 3 core work lessons on it. I also interview a lot of working actors. I have a interview with an entertainment lawyer coming up, directors, producers. I do lots and lots of different things on it. There's so many fabulous episodes. It's all free content. You can get it on Apple Podcasts. I believe I'm on Spotify, Audacity, all of that. Nice. But it's really like a great thing to listen to. I always suggest, if it's a core work episode especially, the first one, while you're shopping at Whole Paycheck or whatever, fine, listen to it. It doesn't matter. But then if you can, like if you're like, no, I really want to freaking change, then sit down with pen and paper and write down what I say. And I talk about the magic of pen, like having a pen in your hand and putting it on paper, not typing it. Because that's not how that's not genetically how we were learned to write. We didn't type, we wrote. Also, writing slows you down. Mm-hmm. And all of us are moving so goddamn fast. And I swear to God, sometimes I just want to tell actors, slow down. Just act at the pace of the universe. Act at the pace of the universe.
The link is at the top of the page. Mike has put that up for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So that's going to be the top level website. So actingbusinessbootcamp.com. And on there, pretty much anything that we're going to talk about or have talked about. I know that the podcasts are down below at the bottom of the page. Some of the course offerings and that are peppered throughout. So a lot of stuff. If you don't get any other link tonight, that's the one that you grab.
Don't panic, because in my usual video recap, I will put all of the links that we are sharing this evening, so you will have them in a succinct file to grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, I offer a free month of life coaching in my weekly class that I do. I have a weekly coaching class, which is, again, how I stay sane. And that's chiropractorforthemind.com. So if you want to take advantage of the free month, always feel free. And I said, I'm very accessible. So, email me, contact.
If you want to have your mind cracked.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, before we take, I know the audience
the stage. Yeah,
the audience have started loading up questions in the chat, which is great. Before we go to that, I know you mentioned it at the top that because of the strike situation, the whole looping thing is kind of very quick for you these days. But I mean, it's not something that we get to talk about very often, and that we get someone like you who can talk about it. So, we mentioned in your bio, you and your husband formed the Loop Group and casting company called the Looping Division. Now, for our audience members who might not be familiar with the looping, can you maybe share just kind of a what's what and where does the magic happen kind of thing?
Yeah. So Loop Group is done during the post-production stage. And basically what it is we give voice Foley to the background. So if you're let's make this real simple. You're in a bar in New York City, and the principals, Nicole Kidman and, I don't know, Russell Crowe, are talking. They are mic'd, but all the extras behind are not. And what we do is we give the people in that bar voice. Sometimes that will involve focusing on lip flap. Always, locations are important in this particular little bit. What part of Manhattan are we in, or are we in Brooklyn, or are we in Queens? Where are we? And let's say there's a hockey game playing on the television set at the bar. Well, we will also be in charge of creating the play-by-play for the hockey game and having an actor in our group who will do that. And before the pandemic, we would all assemble in a large voiceover booth on a stage, and we would do this together. Since the pandemic, a lot of our stuff is still done remotely from the comfort of our own home studios, using Clean Feed and Zoom are the ones that are the most common. Loop Group is a wonderful, wonderful thing to get in. I will also say, that it is one of the hardest professions to get into. It is fiercely competitive because it is so lucrative, because you're working, instead of going to on a set and making a day rate for your co-star, you might, do an episode in an hour and a half, or you might do it in 4 hours, but they have you for all 8. So you could end up doing, if you're really busy, you can do 2 sessions a day, 3 sessions a day. And obviously that can be very lucrative over time with the residuals. But like I said, it is extraordinarily competitive. And also the reason why it's extraordinarily competitive is because the people who do it, you think that you're like, oh, this is so easy. But the people who really work are some of the most skilled actors I know, because they are doing it 17 different ways off the top of their head, research like you wouldn't believe. I mean, some of these actors really, really blow me away. And, it's also a very intimidating atmosphere because of those actors' ability, I find.
Wow.
So that's kind of my quick synopsis.
Yeah, that's a great top level view. I mean, and that's for movies, that's for TV.
Film, television, for film and for television is what we do.
Because
but I
it's
also
one of those...
cast a lot of other, people like, I actually ended up casting, doing some small casting in a feature film. And or I get calls for, like, hey, can you help me to cast this radio spot or this internet spot? So I tend to kind of take over if my husband does a lot of the real, like, Loop Group stuff. We always screen everything together. We always bounce ideas off each other. But when it's one of those kind of random jobs, I tend to take that up. Which because I know so many actors through acting business boot camp that I pull from the people I know and the people who I know have those skills.
Now you mentioned the group of people that pre-pandemic would have been all together and things like that. Yeah. So that industry, well, I don't want to say that industry, the niche of the industry was located in LA. Is that
LA, New York, LA and New York primarily. But there's some Loop Groups in London as well, and I'm sure there's some in Australia.
Right. But just, I mean, it's one of those questions that often comes up because we've seen the rules in our industry bend a lot since pandemic. Things where you needed to go into studio. We had to, and now some stuff is bending back, some stuff is staying the same, some stuff is kind of caught in between. So that's, it's... It's
And
strange.
I think a lot of, I think it also sometimes, and I'm saying this very liberally, okay? I think that it depends on the comfort zone of the coordinators and also the sound person. Yeah. And some sound people, they're like really happy, to work next to Fido, at home. And some are like, no, I want to be more social. I want to get in the room. We obviously do both. Before the pandemic, we were flying. I was literally doing a round trip between New York and LA a week. That's how much I was flying. And the extreme weeks, which thank God would only happen a few times a year, 2 to 3 times, I was literally doing 2 round trips. So
country commute.
It was, yeah. So we were, and I'll be honest, that first month of the pandemic, because we were really busy right before it, I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was so tired from 5 years of traveling at that rate. So
wow.
But I learned a lot. I talk a lot about in the weekly class about having your go bag, and how to really work in markets. I'm talking on camera here. Working in markets where you're not living and things like that, and the ability to do that because I lived that, Yeah. We have a house here in LA and we have an apartment in Manhattan, and, we were constantly negotiating. I had my A flight, my B flight, and my C flight, and sometimes a D, so I would not miss work, and I never, knock on wood, did. Through snowstorms, through everything.
That is a whole other ninja artwork kind of thing, like
oh my God,
planning flights and things like that. But
oh my God.
I love it. Thank you so much for the insight
Absolutely.
into that.
Yeah.
Super interesting because, like I said, because you said it's a very exclusive group within the industry. It's very niche.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tough to get into, but we don't get to talk about it, and so now we got a nice little peek behind the curtain. Emma, we're gonna open things up to the room, so to speak. Yeah. But I know you had a question via email. Do you want to just knock that one off first?
Yes,
I
had a question from Eric Bannister. If you were just starting out as a brand new voice actor today, but you had kept all your training, knowledge, experience, and equipment, what would you do first?
Ooh. Call me. The first thing I would do is get in a class, but here's the real fucker of the fucker, and this is actually one of the reasons why I started Acting Business Boot Camp like 25 years ago. So one of the things that's not in my bio is I headed an entire commercial department in New York City, a commercial management department, and to give you an idea of like the names that went through this management company, Mira Sorvino, I think they represented Jennifer Aniston at one point. Oh my God, I'm forgetting so many people, but Josh Hamilton, Timothy Oliphant, so many huge working actors today. And I started in an internship when I was in high school, when I was 18 years old. Then I helped them in their commercial department. I was really good at it. I'm a really great organizer, and I'm really great with time management. And the thing that I kept noticing was that people would have materials like a voiceover reel or a headshot that I would literally go, how much did you pay for this? And I started to get so fucking angry that actors were being led and being ripped off in such insane ways that kind of began my career coaching. And I wasn't even a life coach at the time because nobody knew what a life coach was in 1989. And 89. And so I started guiding actors and saying, no, go here, get your pictures taken here. This is how your resume should be. This is how your demo reel should be. This is who you should study with. And I started building those 3 tenets. I would tell them, I would look at them and I'd go, this is everybody you need to be studying with. Okay. And you need to do this person, then this person, then this person. And I would monitor their progress. These are all the materials you need to do. Okay, so that's the training. Then we have the business skills. So we need to get this, and this, organized and done. And then you're going to be ready to go out into the industry. Okay, and let's talk about you not thinking you're good enough. And that's the core work. And so what I would say is you want to get in a good class. And that's something I offer for free is if an actor says to me, look, I really want to know who to study with, I will ask for the resume, who have you worked with, and I will guide them with that. Because there are, especially in the world of voiceovers, there's so many people ripping you off. I've even seen it in Loop Group, like, oh, I teach Loop Group, and I'll look at the person's credits and I go, you are not qualified to be teaching this. I'm just I'm sorry. And anybody who I recommend is qualified to be teaching, because the thing is that I'm not interested in somebody kind of wanting to be a working actor, a working voiceover actor. I'm interested in working people who are no, this is what I want to do. And that's the attitude I come from. So I would say, really start with, working with a really qualified coach and then really start working on the business. So if I can help you, Eric, let me know. That's kind of what, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm really I think that's so important because I have seen so many actors come to me. Oh, you're welcome. I've seen so many actors come to me and they're like, I've spent $5,000 and I'm like, oh my God, if you'd come to me, I would have saved you thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars.
And it's
if
in
we just
every
there.
genre.
Every genre of this business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Folks, if you joined us partway through the evening show, this is the Voiceover Roundtable here on Clubhouse Live every Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m., 4:30 Pacific. We're talking about all things voiceover with a special focus on our beautiful community, bringing you in-depth interviews, roundtable discussions, special performance events, and industry-leading guests.
And tonight, our special guest is casting director and coach, Pamela Rose. We crowd goes wild. No, this is awesome. I'm going to start I was started. So normally there's this running joke that Mike does the mid-show and then I am supposed to introduce the guest again, but I'm scrolling through the chat on my phone.
Oh, good.
So
good.
Yeah.
Okay. We throw two balls to juggle. And so
right.
Emma, look at the chat for the questions, Emma. And then I'm like, and then do this, Emma.
I'm but I can't. Yeah. I can't do it.
But now I think we've got it dialed now. We stuck the landing on that one. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go more questions.
Question from Max Goldberg.
Yes.
When you send your submission, forget about it from that point. Oh, no, that's not a question. It's a statement. All right, one more. Okay. I have a question in mind. What should a cover letter primarily consist of? Part 1. Part 2. Do they even matter when submitting an audition? Part 3. What does a decision maker look for in that space when considering an artist?
Okay, so let's go to 1. What was the first part? Cover letter. What have you done? Who do you know? How do I get in touch with you?
Succinct.
What have you done?
To the point.
How do I get in touch with you? And don't fucking assume that I know how to get in touch with you. Here, I'll give you a great freaking story. I was casting the movie The Drop. I was doing Loop Group and specific voice casting for the movie The Drop, starring Tom Hardy and James Gandolfini. I was told the director wanted to hear auditions for the American anthem. And they just wanted it to be done a cappella so that they could see how the voice would kind of fit in with the scene. First thing, they wanted an R&B voice. And there was some Broadway show that was going on. I looked at the entire cast of the Broadway show because I figured they would know how to sing. Out of like 20 actors, I would say only 8 had websites. The other 12 never got contacted because they didn't have a website. I had no way of contacting them. This was, a few years ago. Looked on Facebook or, whatever social media was the thing at the time. Couldn't find them. So there you go. Every actor must have a website. And out of 8 actors, I said, please sing the national anthem a cappella and send me an MP3.
Oh, dear. What you get?
How many actors do you think out of 8 actors did that?
2.
Sang 1. And guess who got the job?
The one.
This is me singing the American anthem at the Jets game. This is me singing the American anthem at the Knicks game. This is me, at church, whatever. The instructions were, send me the instructions. I want to hear the national anthem, a cappella, MP3. That's all I want. That's all I want. Not only that actress got hired not for 1 day, not 2 days, and then got hired by us on other subsequent jobs.
Yep.
Nice.
Because she did this, she followed the directions. So let me give you, so that's my number one pet peeve, by the way, is actors who ask me a question when I've given them a breakdown and ask me a question that is clearly stated in the background. So let me give you all a tip. When you get a audition, read the audition, not to yourself, out loud.
Yep.
Yes.
Out loud.
All of the work.
Highlight, underline the stuff that you are like, oh, I need to know how to label it. Oh, I need to know it's an MP3, not fucking M4A. Which, because let me explain to you why that irritates me so much. 1, you didn't follow the directions. 2, I need to download your audition, open up Sound Studio, convert it, relabel it, because you did not do your job.
Yeah.
The one thing that actors or casting directors do not have, I call it the language of the agents and the casting directors at Acting Business Boot Camp.
Yeah.
The language of the agents and the casting directors. One of the things we do not have is time. We do not. Actually, I have that 8 tips not to get ripped off as an actor. I know that's one of the things we're giving as like it's a free master class. There's so much info in it. I beg of you, please watch it. It's great if you're a voiceover actor or whatever. But the whole point is to really start to learn the language of the agents and the casting directors. And this is one of the things, we don't have time. We don't have time. And honestly, I have so many options that if you waste my time, I'm moving on to, choice 2.
Yep.
What was the question? Oh, that was what you put in your, so
Cover letter.
What have you done? How do I get in touch with you? What was the second part?
Do they even matter when submitting an audition?
Oh, so I
always like, not the cover letter, but a submission. I always like a little something if you can relate in some genuine way to the project. Great. If you can't, I always say, thank you for considering me. All the best. Your name. That's fine. And the last one was?
What does a decision maker look for in that space when considering an artist?
So, are they good at their job? Do they know they're good at their job? Are they good at their job? Do they know they're good at their job? And do they speak the language of the agents and the casting directors? Those 3 things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are they good at their job? Do they know they're good at? So think about this. Acting training. Are they good at their job? Do they know they're good at their job?
Business.
Okay. That's that's core work.
Oh, yeah.
Do they know? They know. Again, it doesn't matter that I know you're great at your job, Emma. It matters that you know you're great at your job. You see what I mean?
Yep.
And do they speak the language of the agents and the casting directors? And that's the business.
Yeah.
I hope this is helpful. Okay.
It is.
I have another question from the chat.
Yeah.
From Peter with a D. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly, Peter. Are there college courses you can recommend to help develop your acting or career? I have an opportunity through my work to go to college on their dime.
Wow.
So yeah, there are some employers who will pay for certain courses or certain like development and things like that, but it has to kind of be within a scope. So I guess like accredited things and stuff like that is
in Canada
college.
it would be ITM, but
Yeah. So I can, first of all, I should make it very clear, I really can only speak to the United States.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
fine.
can speak to the UK, to Britain, having been there. But what I would really say about acting training is, one, if you are 26, maybe 27 and above, I would say 27 and above, I wouldn't do like a master's or a full-time, unless we're talking about like a 2-year course like at William Esper where you can still work and do stuff like that. That I'm not talking about.
Right. You're
I'm
talking about like a
talking about
full-time. Yeah.
I'm talking about Juilliard. I'm talking about RADA, Guildhall, NYU, Carnegie Mellon, ACT, those big places. Yeah. I do not recommend doing it. And I'll tell you why is because ultimately, one, it's so expensive. It's so expensive. Two, ultimately, your big night is your agent's evening, your industry evening night. And by the time you get up there in age, your chances of getting picked up are way down. Right. And I've lived through a few of those. They are massive high-pressure nights for you as the college student. And I just think that there are so many great acting teachers out there. Happy to introduce you to. There's so many great teachers out there that you can build your own curriculum for a lot less money and a lot less stress and a lot less debt. So, but as far as like the places I would recommend, Juilliard, if you can get in, the great places in London. I don't know if they're kind of talking about like a 2-year program or I would say William Esper is in New York, is a great program. I did not go to it, but really good. But if you want to email me and kind of tell me your situation specifically, I'm more than happy to. My email, by the way, is peter@actingbusinessbootcamp.com. And Peter, just like the guy's name, I was named after my mom at Acting Business Bootcamp. So if you have like a specific training question, I'm more than happy to.
So your mom's name was Peter too?
My mom's original name was Peternella. My mom was born in 1939, a few months before the Nazis invaded the Netherlands. Uh-huh. She is a survivor of the Hunger Winter of 1944 in the Netherlands when the Allies freed the southern part of the Netherlands, but not the northern part. She was in the northern part, and 20,000 Dutchmen died. And there was a carnival song called I Have a Sister Named Peter, a German carnival song called I Have a Sister Named Peter. And my uncle, who was 20 years older than my mom, nicknamed her Peter. And then when she emigrated to the United States, she changed her name legally to the American spelling of Peter. She liked it so much, she decided to torture me for the rest of my life with it. Wow. And Pamela is the name of the woman who sponsored my mom when she came to this country, and Rose just happens to be my dad's last name. So yes, I get Peter Pam. Yes, I get Pete Rose over your parents, goodness. Cincinnati Red Sands.
How was elementary school, eh?
I went by Pamela and Pam till I was 16 years old, and then I entered my first official acting class when I was 16 years old. And they went around the room and said names, and I said my name was Peter, and this really cute guy said, "Oh my God, that's so sexy." And I was like, done. I am, and from that day on, I was Peter, and I never went back. So, and I love it. Wow. I mean, I love my name. It's a great name.
It is a great name.
I
there's
knew there would be a
one
good story, but I didn't know it would be this good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so
There's only
awesome.
one on the planet named Peter Pamela Rose.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So,
We have another question from, and it is from Max. He did have a question. So how would you get, then this is so up your alley, how would you get a voice actor out of their head and into their heart while the voice actor is having trouble during an audition?
you know, it's one audition in a lifetime of auditions. And again, I think the biggest thing, this is an acting lesson. When you're doing a scene, when you're doing commercial copy, that want, that need, that message, that secret of that actor is not of that actor, that character, I apologize, needs to be the number one most important thing you are focused on. If you're focused on, I'm not sure if this sounds right. Oh God. Oh, that sucked. Fuck, I flubbed. If you're focused on that, your attention is in the wrong area. And so I really think it's because it's always so hard when the pressure is on. But again, it's before you start taking that step back. And I always, I have a spiritual life. It's not religious. It's a spiritual life. In fact, I have candles here. You can, oh God, it's too heavy I have candles.
I believe you.
Lit. And I always light a candle before any of my coaching, before I do a podcast, before doing this. And I invite the universe into it. Because what I recognize is I'm a vessel. That's all I am. That's all I am. And without the universe, I am nothing. All of my wants to do well and to do that come from that. And it wants me to succeed. So I invite the universe in on my day. I have this joke about good morning, universe. It's Peter Pamela Rose reporting for duty, and I am here to do what you want me to do, not what I want to do. Because sometimes what I want to do is nothing. And what I want to do is stay in bed and put the covers over my head and not come out. But that's not serving anybody. And my job on this universe is to help other people. That is my number one job on this universe to do. And whether that be through acting, whether that be through my coaching, which I truly believe that is one of my things, it's important to invite it in and to ask myself, well, where is my focus? Is my focus on my ego, or is my focus on what the universe wants me to do? And I talk about those two things, like ego and universe. And the thing about the ego is that it's finite. It's finite. In and of if I'm just focused on me and what does something look like and how is it coming out and what does it sound like and am I going to get this job? I am only working in the finite knowledge of Peter Pamela Rose. When I invite the universe in, it can be as simple as lighting a candle and saying, I invite you in. I invite you into this day. I invite you into this moment. If I do that, I am recognizing that universe is pilot, I am co-pilot. And then I have access to infinite knowledge, not finite knowledge. And then that's where the magic happens in acting. And also, it's so much more fun because then I just let myself go. I also think I'll give another, I'm really into core work because I think it's the most important thing to be successful.
Really is.
And I will be honest with you, when I started working with Arlene, my life coach, Arlene Rosenberg, 27 years ago, she would say to me, yeah, Peter, what I want you to do is I want you to go home and I want you to take a bubble bath. I would be like, fuck you, bitch. You want me to take a fucking bubble bath? No, I need to call agents. I need to do this. I need to do that. No. I need to learn how to be good to myself. And I needed to get on my side, and I needed to learn how to love myself. Because this is the thing. As an actor, I so believe if I don't feel safe in myself, how can I go to the lengths that I need to get to that a character is going to?
Yeah.
And still know that I can return home and be okay. And I think it's the same thing whether you're selling charcoal or toothpaste. Because you feel stupid selling toothpaste. You feel stupid selling charcoal. You feel stupid doing it. If I'm comfortable being me, I don't feel stupid being anything because I'm just being me.
I think there's quiet because it's hitting really hard. Like the chat is on fire of how deep, I'm getting weepy, how deep this is hitting. This is a gift. Thank you so much.
It's what I'm here for.
Yeah, no, you are sharing the gift to the universe. That is to be of service.
It's what I'm here
What
for.
you're doing. And it's...
Ain't it funny, and these things come along right at the right moment, Sam?
Oh, I know.
That's universe working.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life when shit wasn't very good. Not good. And, I had a lot of emotional problems. I mean, I would, anxiety, it was anxiety. It was just kicking my ass. And I literally, my anxiety was so bad, I would do anything to get rid of it. Just anything. And, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I would be like, for some reason, something always said to me, you're here for it. You got to go on because you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And I so believe that in my coaching. And that's why I don't mind sharing about my anorexia, and I don't mind sharing about the bad times, and I don't mind it, because you know why? Is that if I can help one fucking person for even 1 millisecond get out of their shit, because for me, those people kept me going in my career, in my life, in my happiness to live another day. And that's what it's all about. I mean, we're all human beings, humans, they're my species. I should get along with them,
There are days.
Yeah.
There
but
are
also,
days.
like, I also say that because, I understand, like, I say things like, yeah, I'm a great coach. I'm a good actress. I'm a great, voiceover actress. I will say those things, but I need to tell you that was not who I was. And that it is so important for everyone who might be going, oh, well, that's easy for her to say because she was always like that. Fuck no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Hell no. I was the actress they were always saying, you're not pretty enough. I was constantly told that. I was constantly told so much negative stuff. The problem is that at that point, I chose to believe it. And listen to my words, I chose to believe it. Why? Because believing it was easier than saying fuck no and doing it. And I think once you start to really understand that your destiny and your choices choose your future and your life, no matter what your age. I have more excitement and opportunity in my 50s than I ever have.
Yeah.
And I feel I look better and I sound better and I am better and I'm prettier, I'm sexier, and I'm funnier than I've ever been. Why? Because I fucking chose to be comfortable being me.
Yeah.
And you know what? If some producer doesn't like that, or honestly, family members don't like it, well,
Oh, well.
I am what I am, and if you don't want me to be in your life, I'm sorry, you're missing out. You know what I mean? Because eventually it's like, it's your happiness or my happiness. Well, I'm finally more worried about my own, and that's been a long time coming. But I wouldn't say that came in my 50s, but it's been a process of that. Okay, now is the moment for the two people who are looking at me to say, your 50s? Oh my God, I didn't think you were a day over 35.
No, my
Just kidding.
No, honestly, my response is you have such charisma.
Yeah.
And you are so comfortable in your skin that I'm comfortable around you because
But that's why I said I'm accessible. I want you to, because
relaxed.
Yeah. And I also think that I hid my enthusiasm and my bigness. Everyone would tell me I was too big.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm too fucking big for you.
Yeah, too bad.
You know what? I spent decades trying to be smaller. Fuck that.
Stop.
Doesn't work.
Never, ever.
I'm what I am.
All to accommodate somebody else.
Somebody else's, yeah. Anyway.
So,
Well, that was a bit of a soapboxy.
but it was brilliant.
But it was good soapbox.
It's good soapbox.
I own the soapbox. Okay. What's the next question?
I feel like the entire room has like gone soap. People. I just want to make sure that everybody knows. As I said, I'm going to list all of the links, but there's the free webinar, 8 tips of not getting ripped off as an actor. There's the acting business audit. There's the how to own your own power as an actor, and then there is the time management. That's the voiceover roundtable.
Yeah, those I have queued up to drop into the chat easily.
And the time management is I think it's like a 6-hour taped class that I did. You're seeing the live class. Wow. It has never been available. I'm dropping prices like crazy for the strike because I realize how hard it is for everyone. But that's like 35% off. And then we have like $150 off the Working Actor Roadmap. I also am doing some private coaching right now. So if you're interested in any of this, again, I can be reached at peter@actingbusinessbootcamp.com, or you just have a question or a comment or something. I'm kind of an open book. It may take me a few days to get back to you, but I will. I promise.
So I'm just about to drop into the chat the main acting business bootcamp offer.
Peter's already emailed you
with the code.
Another Peter is already
but it's
AD. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
so the first link is in there, and again, reminder to everyone, Emma's going to put this in her review, recap post that she does.
Yeah, it'll just be easier because then you'll be able to see each section with the codes.
But if somebody's ready to dive in now, that they're more than welcome to. It's there. And then the next one I'm going to put in there is going to be this time management thing, which
and you can put my email in. And if you're liking the core work stuff I'm talking about, all this stuff, I have a free month of life coaching, and that's kind of cool. It's a phenomenal thing that I teach where we focus. I teach a different lesson every week. So it's a lot of fun, and it's free for a month. Mm-hmm. What else? What else shall we talk about? What else do you want to...
Go for it.
I was just going to say, like what I was saying before, I'm glad that this came along now. And it's like, I love the way this, for Peter, for Emma and I, sometimes these things just happen really organically and we don't really push too hard. And I joke around with Emma all the time. I fumble around with this universe stuff, and every once in a while I go, oh, wait a minute, I was listening. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And so I kind of get the tingles, and I love it, and it feels really cool. But tonight comes along at a good moment because I think, speaking selfishly, this is a good moment for me to hear some of these things from you, but also for so many people in our industry who are freaked out about things like AI, and they're freaked out about things like strikes, and they're freaked out about, all kinds of things that are making them question, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? Am I good enough? And should I just look at something else and things like that? So
Can I have a little thing to coach on this. Can I just say this?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Keep the focus on yourself.
yes.
I so often observe, and I've seen it myself, that actors, and that's why, like, what I'm all about, focus on what you can control and get your hands and your brain off the things you can't. And there's something called the serenity prayer, and it goes,
Yes.
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And I always coach, I cannot change other people, places, or things.
Yep.
Courage to change the things I can, which is I can only change myself and my attitudes and my actions. And wisdom, and that is one of the things that weekly coaching group is all about, is becoming wiser. I always want to become wiser, remain teachable, which is the wisdom to know the difference between what I can change and what I cannot change, which is people, places, and things, and myself, my thoughts, my attitudes, and my actions. And so often I can worry about AI, and I can worry about the strikes, and I can worry about 10 billion things, rats in the crawl space. But let's focus on what I can actually do something about. And working actors focus on that. Working actors, and the actors I hire, focus on that. The actors I don't hire and the actors I delete, I are not focused on that. There's this great phrase, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. I want to be the type of person that's focusing on winning. And when I mean winning, I mean creating the best damn life I can for myself. No matter what my age. My mom is one of my huge inspirations that way. My mom finished her 10th cookbook on her 80th birthday.
Cool.
You know,
What's her name? Her name is Peter.
Peter G. Rose, and she is a Dutch food historian. She's got to talk about a niche market.
Seriously.
You know, and my dad is one of my, huge influences. Now, I need to tell you, growing up, I also need to stress this. My parents find my coaching the most nauseating thing about me. They are like, and my husband, he's just like, oh, God, Jesus, God, okay. I mean, they just like, all three of them, the three people who I'm closest to on the planet, and I love the most, are not woogie. They, like I said, talking about the universe, and I see their eyes glaze over. I mean, they are not, and so that's also what I'm saying is, that's fine. Those are not the people I talk to about it. I don't talk to them about it.
Oh, here she comes with the woo again.
Yeah, I mean, like, but no, this is the thing. I don't even try anymore.
Yeah.
That's another huge thing, Mike. That's huge. I don't try.
Yeah.
I just do it for me. Just do it for me. Because I can't change them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been with my husband for 25 years. If my husband told me that he wanted to pray with me, I literally would have a heart attack. If my mother said she wants me to pray with her, I'd have a heart attack. And if my father did, I just would drop dead just immediately. And that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter what your loved ones or the people around you believe. It's what you believe and what you hold dear.
Mm.
So anyway, that was kind of a long-winded explanation for that, but I can go on for 15 to 23 hours straight on this stuff. So
I never thought.
that we would run out of
No.
things to talk.
no, I know we stop at 9 Eastern, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
6 Los Angeles time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to meet me, I will be picketing. I will be picketing in New York next week. So if you're in New York and you want to meet me, get in touch with me and I'll let you know and meet me in the flesh.
And I'm going to be in LA. Well, not next.
I know we discussed that.
No,
We're gonna
be crossing. Like, high five.
Anyway, hopefully I'll be in Toronto soon.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other questions? What else can I help with? How can I be of service? How can I help?
You've given so much this evening. Like, it's bananas. People are weeping. People are like, and then people are swearing, namely me, in the chat, just because that's what I do.
We scroll through the chat, and my good chuckle was when I saw somebody put M4A.
4A. Fucking M4A.
Right?
Oh, no, Max is swearing with me. That's good. Max says,
Yes.
yeah. I'm like, yeah.
So again, I've left the top level website, actingbusinessbootcamp.com, and really, if you
sign up for
if
the
you
waiting list.
poke around in there,
sign up list. Yeah.
yeah, if you poke around in there, you're going to find a lot of the things that we've talked about tonight. Scroll through the chat. You've got the 2 offers that are there. Again, a reminder: Emma's going to post everything
I'm the recap.
in the recap post with all the
Yeah.
discounts and passwords and things like that. So, and to sum it all up, I think it's so good that we get to see that there's more to being this entity. I'm making big global hands with universe hands with my arms. Nobody else sees them except us. But there's more than just the performance coaching and the acting coaching. I mean,
Now, that's important. Don't forget, like
it's important. Tripod doesn't stand on one leg.
It's the 3 things.
Three.
Acting,
because some
training,
people
business,
don't think the
sport.
performance part is important. They think it's just the sound of their voice. So let's drive that one home.
Let's remind everyone of the last 3, Peter. Go ahead.
Acting training, business skills, which I call the language of the agents and the casting directors, and core work,
Wonderful.
And look, I don't know if anyone has said this on the line, and I'm waiting for the comments to come in as soon as I say this. I cannot tell you how many people say to me, has anyone ever told you you sound and look just like Laura Linney? And I get that almost as often as I get, oh, did your parents want a boy? So, I mean...
I think that was in the chat. I think a man said that.
I also have to say, when I started my voiceover career as a teenager, the biggest agent at the time said, Pamela Rose will never book voiceovers because her voice is too particular. Well, that ended up, being the biggest bunch of bullshit.
Yep.
And again, I really have to say, it's just one person.
It's an
just
opinion.
one audition. It's one audition in a lifetime of auditions.
Yeah.
Did it give you a little poke? Did it give you a little push?
Honestly, you want to hear the funny thing?
Yeah.
I ended up booking the IBM fall campaign the next week, so I didn't have time to.
I didn't have time to worry about it.
And then that agent kept requesting me because I was with a manager at the time.
Right.
I was like the first one she'd always request. So it's kind of, you never
Strange turn of events.
fucking know. You never know. You never know.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway. But really, I mean, if I can be of help to anyone, if you guys, I'm talking actually to you and Mike, Emma and Mike, but, it really, because it really is a privilege to share the knowledge but also I think it's so important that, again, it was, I'm in a great place right now, but it wasn't always easy. And I'm also prepared that it might get tough ahead. My husband always says that to me. He's like, this is a business where it can change at any point. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And you know what? When I'll teach you my big, big, big lesson. When that happens, we will be able to handle it. You will never be given more than you can handle but you will be given more than you can control. Because our job is not to control, our job is to handle. And if I invite the universe in every day and I ask for guidance and I say, give me the strength, like I'm going to be asking for strength all this week because I've got a crazy ass week. But if I ask for that guidance and it's been put in my lap, I know I'm going to be able to handle it. I know I'm going to be able to manage it. But it's not my job to control. That's not my job. Hands off. Take the action, let go of the result. I'll throw in as many of my little slogans as I can before we're at 6:01 or 9:01. Oh shit. Okay.
You see how flexible we can be.
How flexible, anyway. And thank you, everyone, for listening.
So many notes.
You have so many notes. So that's
right.
Fabulous. Thank you.
It's going to be a great recap video.
Yeah.
So the top domain is there, actingbusinessbootcamp.com. Thank you so much, Peter, for being with us tonight. It was a treat.
Welcome.
It was just
Thank you. It was so great to meet you guys.
chock a block. It was
Yay. Good. Okay.
And thanks, of course, to our audience and supporters for all their great questions and participation.
Yes.
Emma, what's going on next week?
Well, next week, the Voiceover Roundtable returns with not one, but two, or should I say a power couple of special guests. The Society of Voice Arts and Sciences founders, Joan and Rudy, will be here. Joan Baker and Rudy Gaskins will be joining us on the Voiceover Roundtable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Power people.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much to Peter for being with us tonight. We'll look forward to next week having Joan and Rudy with us. We hope you'll join us Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific here on Clubhouse for the Voiceover Roundtable. Until then, we'll hear you then.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.